Hello, welcome to Make Crafty Things. I'm Kim, your host, and I have a very cool project that we are making today. I'm going to turn my Egg McMuffin McDonald's bag into a really cool traveler's journal notebook. It's made with recycled denim and fabric scraps. I love the way worn denim feels. It's very soft to the touch and easy to fray. It has a Velcro opening and a calendar in the back, and you can replace the notebook when need be. I'm starting with my McDonald's bag, and on the part that has the flap, I'm going to measure a mini notebook. I'm measuring it a little bit bigger than it actually is, like 1/8 of an inch bigger. And I'm folding it over on that mark, and I'm going to burnish it really good. Then, however thick you want your traveler's journal notebook to be, that's when you make the next fold. I made mine about 1/2 inch. Now I'm folding my flap inward on that fold, and then I'll do it again on the other fold. Both folds on both sides. Now I'm going to take some masking tape, and I want to make sure that I secure all the seams where the folds are and both ends, because one end will be your flap that will get a lot of use, so you want to make sure that you put masking tape on it to reinforce it. Once you put all your masking tape over your lines and your folds, you want to make sure that you burnish your folds again with the masking tape on there. Here I have my denim scraps, and those of you that know me, you know that most of my projects, I always end up cutting my fabric into, you guessed it, tiny little inchies. So while I glue my inchies to my McDonald's bag, I want to talk to you about journaling. See, journaling can really give you inspiration and focus and purpose. When I'm journaling, I like to ask myself these couple of questions. The first question is, what makes me happy? A lot of people go through life and they really don't even know what they want to do or what makes them happy. They're so caught up in the everyday movement of life, and they never took the time to figure out what they like. So when I'm journaling in my traveler's journal notebook, my first question is, what makes me happy? The next question is, how can I be of service to others? What can I do to help others in the world? By answering these questions in your journal, it will help inspire and trigger like inspirations. You'll suddenly get a thought, oh, I should try that sometime, or maybe I should do this sometime. And those are the things that you need to pay attention to, because that's what's going to develop your focus and your purpose. And the last question I ask myself, which is similar to the others, but it ties in, is How can I make my world a better place? What can I do right now to make my world better? So here I've glued all my little squares on, and I've sewed 2 times on in between all the lines or rows. I've sewed with my zigzag stitch, and I got to tell you, it feels amazing. It feels pretty cool. Here's what the back looks like, and you can see I've done 2 rows on each line. I don't know if you could see that, but so now we're going to start working on our inside piece, but I'm just burnishing my seams again. Make sure they're burnished real good. And now we're going to work on the inside. So I have another piece of scrap denim fabric, and I'm going to take my heat and bond, and I'm going to cut off a piece, and I'm going to glue it. The rough side of the heat and bond is the side with the glue. The rough side of the heat and bond is going to go to the wrong side of the fabric, and I'm going to iron it. Now I'm just peeling the back of the paper off, and you can see how shiny it is. That's the glue that adhered to the back. And now I'm going to take that piece and iron it to the inside of my traveler journal notebook. Here you see I'm just going to cut a little strip of my scrap denim, and I'm going to rip it. The purpose of ripping it is so it frays, and I've got it, it's about a 1/2 inch wide, and I'm just going to rip 2 pieces off. Now I'm just taking some of the threads away so it can be frayed a little bit more. And one of these long strips I'm going to zigzag down the middle and stitch the entire strip so I can use it later for a tie. But this one here I'm putting all around the edges, so I'm sewing over the top with a zigzag stitch over the top of my traveler's journal notebook. See, I just used the zigzag stitch and went around. I did the 2 longer pieces first and then the 2 shorter pieces. Now I'm just going to come in with my rubber band to make sure it fits. When you're placing your rubber band, you want to make sure that it doesn't bunch up your traveler's notebook. And when you insert your book, your little mini journal, you need to make sure that it's a sewed in journal. These pages are sewed in. If it's glued, your pages will come out. You can see here in the middle of the book, you can see the threads that it's sewed. So I'm just going to slip that under my little rubber band, and then I can replace it when need be. So now I'm going to come in with my lace, and I'm going to sew all the way around. Now I've cut a piece of Velcro for my flap, and I'm cutting the roughest part of the Velcro first. And I'm going to sew it. You can glue it, but I prefer to sew it. It's a little stronger. I'm going to sew it on both ends and in the middle. Here I'm showing you that I've sewed it. Now I'm taking the softer piece of the Velcro and I'm going to cut a piece about the same size and stick it on to what I've got there right now. Now I'm folding my book over so I can see where the other piece needs to go. And I'm just going to peel the traveler notebook open and hopefully leave the bottom piece where it needs to go. Now I'm just going to take this to my sewing machine and sew it. So here I have my Velcro sewed in and I'm just giving it a little test. Works pretty good. So here is the other long strip of frayed fabric. I've zigzagged down the middle and now I'm just going to stitch it to the back of my Traveler's Journal notebook. So now I'm just going to decorate my little mini notebook. And the way I do that is I take my fabric and line it up on the seam of the binding, glue it real good, and then open it up and cut off the edges. So here's the one that I did. This is what we've got so far. So now all that's left is to decorate the inside. I have here my fabric scraps that I've cut into little flowers. And I'm going to glue them in with my hot glue gun. I have little flowers and little hearts. And I have some buttons, or a button, excuse me, and some bling. Now while you watch me decorate, I'm going to share another tip with you about journaling. When you're journaling, it's important, very important, to write down things that you are grateful for. Every day, before you go to bed and as soon as you wake up in the morning, write down at least a couple of things that you're grateful for. And at night, write down one specific thing that happened to you that specific day that you are grateful for. And if you do that and answer those 3 questions that I gave you earlier in your new little travel journal notebook, your life is going to change. So here I just have a little charm. It's a key, and I have it on a jump ring. And I'm just going to wrap the jump ring around the rubber band to attach it. And just like that, you have transformed your McDonald bag into a travel journals notebook. These are so cute and adorable, and you can really personalize them. And there's so many things that you could do with them. You could put an insert. You can put pockets in there. You could put something to hold a pencil or pen. And you can really personalize these and make them your own. So thanks for watching, everybody.